Hey, what's up guys? This is Jake from RSP, and today we're going to be talking about Allstars. So you should have watched part 1, but this is part 2. Today we're going to be covering how you can prep your keep last minute, and how to play or behave in Allstars. Be sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoy. Be sure to stay tuned till the end, and I'll show off some of my own things I'm going to be doing in my keep to prepare for Allstars. Alright, first up would be check your grouping in the All-Stars event. Look at in-game mails and public continent discords to find someone who's made a Discord or a line group for your All-Stars team. It's important to get in these groups ASAP so that you can plan and strategize with your team. Many people, like myself, will take it upon themselves to make groups and send the Discord invites in-game, so it's really easy for everyone. So just be on the lookout. Once you're in, you'll need to behave and keep a good energy. So this means no slights, no trash talking, and just being positive. You know, we're all adults. I'm younger than 90% of our audience, and I imagine 90% of the game. So if I can hold it in and behave, so can the rest of you middle-aged guys. You know what I'm saying? So just don't talk shit, work together, and yeah, have fun. These are strangers more often than not. Chances are you don't know all of your team, and you want to present yourself as a positive, smart player. This could have the hidden effect of making your All-Stars team prioritize you and toss you a rain when times get tough and hectic. Alright, next up we got playing in All-Stars. Don't get scared, guys. There's a full 2 hours, there's a whole lot of rallies and defenses to be a part of. You don't need to be in every single one to advance. The biggest thing you can do is remember your fundamentals and some tips from our previous videos from the Elevate Your Game series. So mainly, in my opinion, it'd be getting your preset order down, working on your reinforcement calling, looking at the Alliance War page, and calling in for your setter. That'll tell your setter, okay, well, probably half of these guys are in then if they're in. So it'll let them know when everything's settled. So these things will set you above being an average player in All-Stars. And in turn, this is going to help your team run smoothly. Maybe you'll even win, let alone, do really well personally. Check out the description for a link to these past videos so that you can, pick up some tips real quick like I was talking about. A lot of people think that All-Stars is just about offense. I disagree. I'm going to go against the grain. Sure, offense is a huge part, it's how you zero people, get a bunch of scores, all that shit. But defense is a really big part too, especially when done correctly. So I'm not saying to sit there with thumbs up your ass and then you're just pre-reaming 6 people. I'm just saying your react ream game needs to be on point. And if you see that maybe you guys are getting hit often, especially certain keeps are getting hit often, toss a ream in there. Make the shift. Be like, all right, boys, we're getting hit by like 2 or 3 teams. Let's focus on ream for like 5 minutes. Each game is different, but in these last 2 All-Stars, that's exactly what happened. We just knew that we were getting hit, so we're like, all right, we're gonna rain for a little bit, and then that shoots you up in score, and then in turn makes everyone have to keep hitting you guys because they don't want to hit the other 2 teams that they're competing with. Don't be afraid to heal, guys. Most people aren't gonna get through All-Stars without healing bullets or popping a full heal. If you're a big, huge keep, though, maybe full healing isn't for you. You want to be able to remain approachable to an enemy setter, so you don't want to full heal to like 120 bill, for example. Alright, last up for this section is making sure to keep your eye on the score. So you need to know where your team is, how close they are, and if you're way in the lead or super far behind. Only a certain amount of people from each team will go on. I'm pretty sure it's the first place team will get 20 people advancing, second place would be 15, third place would be 5, and then the last 10 spots go to the top scores that aren't covered by the previously stated numbers. So that means if you're in the 4th place team, you're gonna have to heal like crazy, dude. You need a huge score. And then also, let's say you're in the 3rd place team and you're not top 5, you're about to be there though, just keep healing a little bit, maybe you'll be top 6 and in turn you'll be able to advance. So just keep checking on it like every 5 minutes, I'd say, as a regular player, just keep checking on it. Alright, so here's the second part of the video, pimping your keep and preparing it right before All-Stars. So let's just get into that then. First up would be training defense layers. Everyone and their mother is going to get hit in All-Stars. Whether or not you have to wait till finals, that's a different story. For me and my keep, and keeps like mine, my defensive layers are mainly T1 to T7 Cavs, T9, T10 Siege, and then the top tiers of Siege. And of course, like ground layers, like everything else helps as well, but those are the main ones I'd focus on. I think in the current year that should apply to pretty much everyone. There's a couple people that go against the grain, but whatever. So that being said, consider pumping those numbers up, because staying alive as long as you can in All-Stars is important. You don't want to just get zeroed and then you're healing bullets and you just get soloed by some dude. Next up would be PvP bullets. So Like I said a couple of those tiers already, but this would be training troops that you'd use in rallies. So like, for example, everyone uses a lot of T12, T13 archers, so, you know, maybe pump those up. This one isn't as important to me because, you know, any good All-Stars player would have a bunch of heals saved up in common speeds, and they're going to be healing anyways. You're always going to have bullets, right? All right, moving along, work on your debuffs. Improve however you can. Check out the previous Elevate Your Game video. You'll see a bunch of stuff about debuffs there. As an example for me, I'm going to try to raise my Arch Attack debuff and Arch HP, because I anticipate that's what's going to hurt me the most compared to anything else. Like, of course, a clear would happen, but, you know, I kind of plan on healing or porting before I get killed. You know, don't tell the enemy setters that, though, guys. Keep that under wraps. All right, next up would be taking inventory of your consumables. So that would be blood crystals for seals, dragon source frags for talents, necklaces for champions, Senate items like twigs, blood of Ares, and military tactics, and so on. There's a bunch more. You know, there's easy ways to increase your buffs, debuffs, and universal buffs. Might as well use it, right? You want to get that dragon egg or those galaxy coins, you know, or that finals castle. Looks pretty nice. Just use whatever you can. Maybe not blow your whole entire load, but like make an effort, right? Like you got to set yourself up for success, kinda. All right, lastly, be sure to calculate how many days of speeds you got, whether common or healing as well. Personally, I use Theria Games. I'll drop the link. I'll post the link on screen, but then it'll also be in the description. You know, shout out to Chaz, the boy. To complement this, also try to min-max events like Trial of Knights, the Resource Consumer, and I think there's a couple other. The reason you do that is because you can redeem and earn a bunch of speed ups. Like, it's not a crazy amount. Maybe it's like 10k days from Trial of Knights, and then maybe 6 to 8k days on the Resource Consumer. But, you know, that's a couple more heals right there. Could be the difference between you advancing or not, so make sure to do it. Alright guys, here's some extra miscellaneous stuff. Make sure that your presets for your Monarch gear all include this healing speed crown. And then also make sure that you get the march speed on it. Just use this for All-Stars. I mean, you could use it for regular battles if you want to, but saving up healing speed ups and then getting into rallies a little bit quicker, you know, that's well worth it for me. Another thing I want to fully clarify is looking at how you're going to get the Elder Soul. So over in here, if we click in, it'll tell us about how people advance forward. So like the first team would get 20 people advancing, second place would be 15, third place is 5, and then the last 10 are the 10 highest overall scores that weren't covered right there. So that applies to like every round, right? So that would apply for Group A in prelims, you know, then semifinal, and then in finals, that would apply to get the top 50 rewards, which would be like the Elder Soul. That's only in the top 50. You know, everything else beyond 50 doesn't have it. So just use that same little pathing to see if you're gonna get the Elder Soul or not. All right, and then the last thing would just be talking about the importance of getting to round 2. So let's go look at these rewards again real quick. Top 400 All-Stars, here's what you get if you don't advance, right? So you just get some galaxy coins and a bunch of bullshit. But if you get into the top 200, so 1 to 200, by advancing into semifinals, you're gonna get the egg and some coins as well. So this egg, I'll have to go over here to show it. You can dismantle it if you have all of the dragons already. You can get 150 coins, which if you come over here to the shop, you can get like these red gen chests with all these premium duty gens. You can go down here and get some more outdated ones, but still good, more realistic ones. So it's really important that you guys get to semifinal. And then also, of course, you know, you can get like Layton, Amaterasu, and Ziz over here, and then some castles and stuff. But really what you're going to be looking at in most cases are getting these duty general boxes because they're so good. A few takeaways from this vid for me, I'd personally recommend getting your preset order comfortable for you. For me, I do it with Arch, Cav, Ground, Siege, second Siege, second Arch, second Ground, and then like a healing layer if you have the last preset unlocked, like 10k layers or 100k layers. Another takeaway would be getting familiar with finding chords in the Alliance war page. So people always cry, and I've seen comments like this, I've gotten DMs too from the last vid, or 2 vids ago. They'll say, oh, there's always so much going on, I can't find the chords in the Alliance war page. And to them, I'd say get with the times and grow up, adapt. You know, you gotta adapt to your surroundings. Oh, it's not loading? Try clicking the check check mark on and off again. Have you ever tried doing that? Sorry to come off a little mean right there, but you know, try swiping down as if you're trying to refresh the page on a different app. That always works for me. Maybe I'll try to put up a little clip of that working. It just makes everything register again. When you're able to adapt to the hectic Alliance War page, there really is no excuse to use the Alliance chat for chords, especially in All-Stars when everything's so fast-paced. If you can't keep up, then that's on you, you know, and that's good for you to know your limits, but just don't say it isn't realistic when it very clearly is. You know, I do it week to week. And finally, to wrap it up, I'd train defense layers and use your consumables to increase your buffs and debuffs. All right, and what I mean by taking inventory and stuff, so let's go look over here for a little bit. So look at these, like for military tactics, for example, I see that I have a lot of them, at least a lot of them by my standards. Here's what I plan on upgrading for All-Stars. So I'd write that down. I'd try to get them up to 1500. I have like almost 1400 right now, so pretty easy to get up, just like a pack or two away, especially now with this pack. We'll quickly touch on it. Everyone should already know about it, but you use a triple down here and then that's 100 tactics, you know, very good value. But yeah, you know, you'd take inventory of what you got. I already used up my necklaces, but if you had necklaces here, you'd try to figure out who needs to be leveled up. Another big thing that I'm going to be doing myself is going into the Senate, and then I think it's this one. No, it is. Okay, yeah, so where you see it's the Archer one at level 28, I'm going to try to increase that. Yeah, and then also I'm going to try to increase the Siege one up to level 20, because as we know from previous videos, you get an extra little buff there. This one is just defense, you know, it's nothing special, but, you know, you got to get to 20 before you get to 25, so might as well. I get some more in-rally siege attack, which everyone knows you do a bunch of siege rallies in All-Stars, so it'll help me out. And these are all things that you can find in like previous videos, like areas of your keep. So like, of course, seals, you know, you'd come in here, do some seals, you know, maybe do some attack and HP. You know, you got to use up your inventory. So like I have 8k seals. I've been saving for a little bit. That'll help me get, you know, a little bit of percentages. I don't think it's gonna be anything crazy, but I'll definitely get some percents up and then get a couple red stars or something. I'm just using this beast as an example. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna upgrade this one, but okay, well, I just wanted to like give examples of like how you would use your inventory. I mean, you're not kids, right? You guys know how to increase your buffs. What am I even talking about? Well, guys, I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you guys have an awesome All-Stars. If anyone has any success stories, come back and comment them. You know, let us know how you did in All-Stars. If you have any other prep tips that I didn't talk about, make sure to leave them in the comments. If you enjoyed, drop a like and a sub. Maybe share with your friends. It lets me know that you guys like this stuff and continue to keep making these long-form vids. Thanks, guys. Bye.